t-shirt. What do you think? Here I am again. I want to talk to you about the Two Left Feet papers. As you remember, I gave you that assignment more for me to learn about you than for you to perform for me. And that's what happened. And the outcome is not very different from what I expected. It is more remarkable at the amount and quality of work I saw in some of the papers. You call it that. So let's first talk about a little bit, and please don't be offended by this, but this is important, about being in the program, just a very short time. Those of you who are in this master's program are showing some initiative, maybe even an expectation of becoming a manager or a director, some kind of leader in your institution, in the field, whatever. And there are aspects of being a leader that may not be readily apparent and have not been apparent to me yet. That's what this experience is about for you. Don't think I'm beating you up too much. I'm not. If you want to be a research manager or a director of research, if you want to get into a role like that, you have to run counter to a lot of your work experience and training, which sounds odd. And by that I'm saying most research administrators, no matter what they do, even if they're pre-award people or they're editors or they're whatever they do, are technicians. They do a very defined set of activities grouped around a particular function. That's what they do. They learn to do it very well, and unless they're just goofy, they learn to do it in an integrated manner with other professions in their office. It gives you kind of a slanted view of the business. It gives you kind of a narrow focus on what's going on. And to my mind, at least in my experience, as the longer that people stay in jobs like that, the more they are removed from the reality of the work being done and for their role in that work. So when you become a research manager, you have to rise above just what you know and just the work you've done. We look at a situation like Two Left Feet and we tend to approach it from what we know, from whatever job we've had, whatever inclinations we have, our educational skills, whatever, and that focuses what we do. The purpose of that exercise was to force you to look at something globally. The whole schmear, the whole sphere schmear, the whole thing. To look at it from the inside and the outside. To look at the needs, yes, to run the project, which you did not have to define. A lot of you spent a lot of time defining the project. I gave you plenty enough definition to figure out in general what activities would be, therefore what needs would be, therefore the regulation part, which hardly anyone got to, by the way. The point of the exercise was, can you envision enough of the work to understand why or at least what regulatory boundaries would be around those needs, around those activities. Because I wanted to put the regulation, the activity of regulation, the interaction one has with regulators into perspective. I want you to think about this stuff like you were in your job. School is not different from the rest of your life. The skills you use are not different from the things you use every day. And you have to remember that and not get all weirded out about, I'm a student now, I'm in school, I have to do a particular set of things. Oh, people that have been in school for the last 10 years or so, they know stuff I don't know. Yeah, they do. But these people that have been in your job for the last 10 years or so know stuff you don't know. And you compensate for that. You learn. You learn here. And it's important important when you're in a graduate program to become a professional, to do things professionally, to do things well, to show initiative, that word again, to work harder than you're used to show more, and to do your best to divine what the instructor is trying to get back from you. I don't care about you regurgitating stuff to me. I don't care what facts you can whip out and different things like that. What I care about is how you respond to the material that I gave you and what it tells me about your maturation level, your skill building level, the way that you're changing and becoming more professional as a research administrator. That's what we're looking for. That's why we talk about regulation not only as a boundary but a tool, but you will use them, and you have to become hip enough to use them. If you're going to be a director in research administration, you have to understand research from the researcher's side. I mean, why do they do research? What are they looking for? Can you say it clearly? It's not because they're in love with the subject, although they might be. I mean, something brought them to graduate school. But it's not just that. There are a lot of other factors. You have to be able to think about the project in terms of the sponsor. What is the sponsor doing? Are they altruistically just giving money to some dude to do research about something they have an interest in? No. They're buying results. They want to buy the results of the research so that it can be applied to the problem they want solved. It's about solving problems. So you've got a researcher with one agenda and set of motives and needs and such. You've got a sponsor who might have a slightly different set of those things, and you have to balance those along with regulation, along with everything else. That's your job. So you have to think about it in terms of, what's my job? What am I doing? What do I need to know? And then, what are the tools I have? That brings us back to regulation. I'm going to read your papers. I'm going to comment to everybody that sent me something. There's still a lot of folks I'm not hearing from, and I don't know why. I'm getting the stuff that's coming on email. I'm looking at things in discussion. I'll go plow through the software and see if I can find everyone else. And nobody is going to get screwed over, and if I can't find anyone's work, I will contact you. I promise. I'm not going to leave you drifting. I'm very pleased that I'm hearing from some of you quite often. I like the conversation. I like the way that I can kind of point you in a direction, give you a boost, see where you go. So some of it's going very well. I know that I'm not using the software particularly well yet. I have no idea what Canvas is, for instance. But I think we're okay, and I think we're communicating. What's important to me is that you do communicate what I ask you for. And what I ask you for is evidence of your thinking and learning. It's just like a proposal. You don't say in a proposal, God willing, you'll give us the money. That's faith. You give them all kinds of evidence to say, I'm the very best person to solve your problem, and to solve your problem, you need to give me the funds to do it. Completely different deal, okay? So I'm looking for those evidences. I'm looking for them in your discussions. I'm looking for them in the things that you write to send to me. It's really, really, really important that you not do really short, perfunctory, thoughtless writing. The regulation that you're reading now in the Blue Book, I really want you to look at that by whatever headings exist, or even by the paragraph. I don't care, whatever works with you. I want your thoughts and analysis of what's going on within the language for that regulation. I want you to explain to me what you're reading. I want you to tell me how you've integrated it into yourself. What does it mean? What's the implication for different kinds of activities? How has this changed the way I look at my profession? It's something now that you will know, and you will know to do, and you will know to check for. I want that kind of information from you. If that's not clear enough, email me. But when you send me something, it is not half a page of dribble. It's not just just something to say that you sent something in. If I don't give you a number of pages or a number of words or something like you might get as an undergraduate, that doesn't mean that I want something short. It means that I want your best work. And everybody's best work is at a different level, at a different length, whatever. An example of taking the wrong path is how many people in their projects talk to me more about what the project needs were rather than what the regulatory burden, as they say, would be. I know what the needs are, pretty much the same as you. I gave them to you. I talked to you about them in very, very general terms. Should have been enough. You know, you throw out a few needs. Well, this all falls within such and such regulatory clump. And that would have been purely conceptual, but you don't know what they are right now. Don't write about what you know about. I'm not asking you what you know about. I'm asking you how you're internalizing the things we're looking at now. Even if they're not new to you, we're looking at them now. What are you learning? What are the regulations about? I will come back to you with discussions for you to reflect on some of these different regulations, different parts, and all that kind of stuff. First, I want you to read everything, make notes. I want copies of your notes. I want to see what you're thinking. This is about you learning, not about me teaching. This is definitely about what you learn. And I'm trying very hard to give you nary a spoon of food. Have you figured this out? Have you figured it out with your friends? Talk to your colleagues. You're doing some really good discussion. You could do a whole lot more. And just work the thing out. You're all spread out. I'm not concerned with people turning in the same work because there may be just one truth. What I'm interested in is hearing everything from everybody in their own voice, with their own opinions, with their own questions, whatever. And let's just work through this material. And if you get to the end of it and you say, you know, I don't think I know everything about that, well, you're joining everyone else who doesn't know everything about it, but who is familiar enough to find what they want and understands what the different parts and different categories are. I hope that's clearer. I think it's important for you to be professional in everything you do, and when you're dealing with me, not conversational for heaven's sake, but in terms of how you present things, how you look at the material, how much work you do to get it to completion, to get a task to completion. I think that's all I want to talk to you about right now. Nobody has anything to, except the people who I may not have a paper for. Nobody has anything to worry about on the assignment because this was to educate me. These writing assignments are going to start to stack up pretty quick. Non-participation in the discussion groups under the discussion heading. Not going to make any friends. So, you know, keep your head in gear. Think about this stuff. Give me indications of what you are figuring out on your own. If something gets too hard to figure out, contact your colleagues. If you have to contact me, that's grand. I don't care, but I'd rather you did it with your colleagues first, because part of the point in this professionalization is we learn how to network anyway. In a technically correct quid pro quo collegial form. I think that's about all I wanted to tell you right now. You are no longer a technician. You are no longer a single slice thinker. You are now becoming a global thinker in research administration, and you're going to, over time, learn a lot about how the different players, institution, sponsor, the researcher, the PI, and the research administration people see the same issue, and they're all different, and see the outcome, and they're all different. So this is an important thing. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to realize what I'm asking you to do your brains dirty. Just get in there and roll up your sleeves and read this stuff. Think about it and internalize it. That's not easy when you're not doing actual work, but you got to try. Um, you'll always have this book to come back to. I think that's it. I hope by, gosh, it's Wednesday. I'm out Friday, I'm sorry, but I hope by Friday the discussions are heating up. Maybe I can talk to some over the weekend. We can move right along and see how this goes. Terry Mans is my good friend in Sacramento. I hope that he is not on the ship when we sink it Monday. It's the first West Coast institution to visit Sacramento for the cool down. So, if this is not clear, send me an email. Call me on the phone. Let's see what we can do about it. But basically, you need to work harder. You need to think more deeply into what I asked for. You need to not hear the first phrase, turn off the computer, run, do it. That's how I got a lot of the newspapers. And you must speak to me until you have covered everything. If you think of nothing else, and I'll tell you if it's too much, it will rarely be too much. Good luck to you. I'll talk to you again in a few days.